What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So I want you to picture something. You just download UFFL, you're excited to get going, and you put in your team name, you do all that, prerequisite stuff, right? And then you get your starter team, and this is what you see. But we have to go over the one step that I didn't show, which is choosing your captain, right? They give you a list of players, and the only player I knew out of that entire list was Perisic, and I also knew I didn't want him. The other player that was equally as high rated as him at 75 was this Ruben Garcia, who is my right wing. And as you see, the rest of the players are all 50s and 60s. So imagine either A, you're just starting the game and this is what you start with, right? So there's not much excitement to be had here. Or B, if you're one of those players that likes to do Road to Glories, which I just started one at eFootball as well as in FC. So this is the third out of the three football games where I thought, maybe I could get a Road to Glory going, and that could be something, you all would be interested in to bring life into this game that is all but dead or dying, right? And that's just being fair. The interest in this game is at an all-time low. They're adding run styles out of all the things that need to be fixed. They're not touching the goalkeepers. They're not talking about anything else, not fixing anything else. They're adding in run styles. So I just figured, okay, so maybe a Road to Glory will at least add something and take a little bit of the seriousness out of, trying to grind to the top with all the exploits and stuff. But honestly, you can tell that the interest in adding new players is non-existent with the fact that this is what you are greeted with when you start an account right now. Forget Road to Glory. Let's talk about anybody that wants to start playing this game, and it is still a new game. One of the biggest things should be growing the player base, right? But there's no type of welcome to UFFL, do these objectives to get certain players signed to your team. There's no bonuses or anything for new players, right? You turn on eFootball, and they actually have an entire thing so you can get a head start on getting your team up to par, and it's fun. In FC, they don't have quite as much as eFootball, but every year you restart, and they have a system where at least you can go in and compete, and you have a way to keep improving your team. Not to mention, there's a ton of promos, and teams are always changing, whereas like in UFL, a lot of players have essentially their in-game teams. They're 91 rated, top players in the game, squads. So pretty quickly, if you have any type of skill, you're going to run into those teams and look where you're going to be. I mean, if you're starting with 50 and 60 rated players and you keep winning, you're going to end up facing those God squads for, with regards to what a God squad is in UFL. Pretty quickly, you're probably going to have 75, 80 rated team when you're facing certain God squads. I mean, even in these games that I played, I faced some pretty good teams, including a 91 CR7. Now, my skill level is much higher. You're talking about a top player in the world in UFL. Most players aren't at that level. So when they start the game, they're going to go in and face these God squads with low skill. And most likely, if they even get that far after they see their starter squad, they're going to be gone because there's just nothing there. The team is extremely low rated. It's extremely hard to build a team up. They're going to be facing way better teams from players that have been playing that might have even self-demoted, which is a big thing in UFL. And on top of that, there is no type of path where you can get these boosted players or these signings to help newer players out like they have in eFootball and even in FC. At least having a system, a path for players to go to build their teams up to get to the point where they can compete as they win and as they move up in levels. So what it looks like to me is that they released this game and everybody was a new player, right? And so everybody started from scratch, which was fine to have low-rated squads and to have the system they have since everybody was starting at an equal level. And then they didn't think past that, right? Because now that the first wave of players came, and let's say there's a few stragglers that which there was, right? I remember seeing it. There was a lot of complaints about it. But then that died down, and then it's like they didn't think about, okay, we're going to have more waves of new players as we go because this is still a new game. There might be certain players that finally get fed up with eFootball or FC or for whatever reason come in late, and there's just nothing there. First off, they should have raised the ratings of the starter players that they give you to balance out the fact that most players have God squads. So you look at how many games this player has played and then look at the ratings of his team. He's got the Ronaldo, right, from doing the team pass and all of that. But overall, the rest of his players with that many games is crazy because this player, if he would have won more, right, he has a pretty low record, but if he would have won more, he would be going against entire squads of 91, right? So if you're a skilled player just starting the game now and you start winning immediately, you are going to have a heck of a time as you move up because you're going to be so far behind. The more you win, the quicker you move up, but your team doesn't boost up to match the amount of games you're winning. So again, imagine this player without all those losses. If he just kept winning, you would have 71, 80 rated team going against all 91s. It would be ridiculously lopsided as far as the ratings of the players. Now, as you can see, the skill of a top player in the world versus these lower rated players, you can make up the difference. You'll see later I play even better teams and I'm able to beat them still. One, I believe, I tie one of them. But most players, like I said, aren't going to be at the level that I am at. So assuming that they don't see their starter squad and just laugh and leave the game and they start playing, they're going to leave after they start getting whooped right off the bat. I mean, who wants to go into games against teams that are literally that far ahead, 90 rated, even high 80 rated versus 50, 60, 70 rated teams? I mean, it's a joke. And the fact that UFL strikers never addressed this, never fixed it, like I said, to match up with the fact that most players have top-rated teams now. And more importantly, this is how they are welcoming potential new players. I mean, for a new game that needs to grow a player base, the fact that they welcome new players with pretty much nothing. I mean, a 50, 60 rated team with one captain that's in the 70s, and that's it. Then you just play the game like everybody else. And so this is extremely telling because you're looking at a company, Strikers, that has done plenty of things to make money. From the focus on great customization so that they can charge players for kits, balls, whatever, you name it. They wanted to make sure players would want to buy these things, right? To the fact that they do events where they want you to go purchase stadiums to then just essentially break even with the amount of rewards that you get. I mean, they know what they're doing to make money from their player base. Therefore, they know how to get players to want to play their game without a doubt. So the fact that they haven't focused at all on the new player experience, like you create an account and this is what you see, and it's just nothing, that shows me that they have no plans for the future, right? They need more players to make this game last, and there's no focus on that area, which can only mean that they're trying to squeeze every drop out of the players that are still playing, that they recognize that the game was a failure, and they're already planning to, an exit strategy, right? Now, you can say that I'm jumping the gun or that I'm totally guessing, but you tell me why they wouldn't have anything to help add players to their game, to help, make the game inviting to new players, right? I mean, either that's extreme stupidity or it's exactly what I'm saying it is. So you let me know in the comment section what you think, but I will say this, if that is just an oversight and they were able to put all that focus into taking people's money, but they haven't thought about adding new players or how the game looks to potential new players, that just shows you the incompetency and why the game's so far behind. So, again, you let me know what you think. As always, keep grinding, keep having fun, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.